Good afternoon. The big question today is hemp going to the birds. That's what it's all about today on Chat Canna for Wednesday, February 10th. Counting down to Valentine's Day. Are you going to do something special for your sweetie? I had a good lawyer friend out in California, and he always considered that he told his wife before he married her that Valentine's Day is on the 15th of February. And that was his rule. And every morning on the 15th of February, he would go out and buy a couple of dozen roses and a big box of chocolates at a significantly reduced price and would bring them home. And that was his rule. And it worked for them, as long as she had the understanding. And he always felt that he was a penny pinching, what was that, miser duck, so Scrooge. And but she always did get her roses and her chocolates. So everybody was happy. It worked out. All right, 3 stories for you today. And they say this is one of the longest cold snaps on record. Not necessarily the coldest one, but one of the longest ones. And we're not over here in the studio as much as we normally are. And so the guard cat just wants to kind of go crazy over here because he's not had as much attention as he usually does. So he may interfere with the show a little bit today, and my apologies in advance. So stories for you today, of course, as we try and keep you up to date on the news and what's happening in the world of hemp, especially since the big shutdown. And we're trying. I think that I really do believe that the hemp business is finally picking up now since that. Of course, the big hemp show going on now for the state of Minnesota yesterday, today, and tomorrow, and we'll be covering that tomorrow. So that's going to be our show for tomorrow. It's going to be kind of exciting. And all of a sudden, as we're going live here, all sorts of things are coming in. So kind of interesting. So today is hemp going to the birds? Well, this is really neat because there's a U.S. Hemp Feed Coalition, and they have actually been working on this for some years, believe it or not. They started in 2018 as a pilot project, incorporated as a nonprofit in 2020. Now it's into 2021. But they are actually going now to the FDA, the Center for Veterinary Medicine, and they want to show that hemp meal and hemp cakes should be approved for laying hens. And I think they should too, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. I have right here hemp seed. This is in two forms here. I don't know if you can see it through the tube any different. Can we, is it going to catch on us there? Yeah. This is raw hemp seed, and it's also toasted hemp seed, but it's not heavily toasted. I think I'm going to go toast some, really like the toast that I like would be. I like toast that's just on the cusp of burnt. Not burnt, but just on the cusp of it. Think of sesame seeds with a little bit of a seaweed taste. If you're a sushi fan, you know that the nigrini, is that what it's called? The seaweed wrap? It's got a little bit of that taste. Not unpleasant. I'm not a sushi fan at all. For my money, you should go to a sushi bar with a little hibachi. I do not in any way like raw fish. I've been out on a boat too much. And between throwing leeches around and slicing raw fish, I've had plenty of it near this area. It's not for me. And also my dad always wanted his meat well done, not burnt, but significantly not pink in any way, because, he had here on the farm, for him, born in 1915, and of course, really active on the farm from the time he was 6, 7 years old. And they never went to a butcher shop. Everything was butchered here on the farm, and he was part of it from a very young age, being the second oldest boy in the family. And he just wanted his meat cooked. He loved roasts in the oven that were gently slow cooked until you could just, this pulled pork that's a popular sandwich, but the beef too. So you could just take it apart with your hands. That was his absolute favorite. But it was only middle in my life when I discovered medium rare and finally rare steaks and how delicious they are. But so anyway, that's what they are trying to do. Either feeding that itself. These are delicious, by the way. We're creating recipes here now for restaurants out of these and how to use these. One of the things that we're deconstructing is actually a California sushi roll as a side salad for some meals. But along with that, this guy, the Hemp Feed Coalition, is trying to make hemp seed meal and cakes for laying hens because it's really good. It's got all the good stuff for the hens to eat to produce eggs because there's oil in it and potassium, magnesium, just a lot of good stuff for chickens that are laying eggs. So they've done clinical trials. They've shared certificates of analysis. They have demonstrated both that you can make the product and then feed it to the chickens, and then what comes to the chicken in the egg, and also what comes to the chicken in the waste is good for the whole bigger both economy and ecologically parts of the world. So we're waiting to see how that's going to come back. We're excited about it. We hope that Hunter Buffington, the executive director of HFC, can be on our program at some time. We'll hear it from, I would have said the horse's mouth, but it might be the chicken's mouth. I don't know. So that's story number one for today. And I thought that was really interesting. Looking forward to that. If anybody, what we should do is now we should start matching up some home chicken raiser. I know I have one just right up north of me here. We'll maybe try and get a hold of a bigger industrial hemp grower around here and get 100 pounds of hemp seed and put it through the mill and take the hulls off and feed it to the chickens for a couple of weeks and see what kind of eggs we get. The one thing we do know is that it can't hurt you in any way. That's the one thing that we've known literally, for 100 years or more here in the United States since our friends, our original people here on American soil. We think they're original. There might have been folks before them. But, that is one of the things that's so neat about hemp is that we are partnering with the now Native Americans here across Minnesota and North Dakota as they, again, are reintroducing hemp to their lands and using it in so many ways. That's exciting. But we got to do that. Another project for the year. Mark it down on John's book. All right, next story we've got. I'm sorry, but the cold air brings dry air into our places here. And here in the studio, we're only heating it up to 50 degrees. And even so, it is so dry. Congress. Thank you. Congress is in session, and separate from all the news that you're seeing, a bipartisan legislation has been introduced, and we thank all of the congressmen and legislators. That is going to clear the rules for CBD and other hemp compounds. Please, if you don't have the email addresses for your representatives and for your senators, we'll get you a link. And you should just have that. You should have their phone numbers on speed dial, but certainly you should have, and that's to text them, not to, don't bother trying to call them. They won't answer. They have 2 cell phones. They have their public cell phones that you will call and just you can leave a message. And then they have their cell phones that they do their work on. I get it. This is not a complaint. But what you got to do is you got to be texting them. You have to be emailing them. And if they would just get emails from all their constituents out here and get a blanket coverage saying, please pass the measure. It's called the Hemp and Hemp-Derived CBD Consumer Protection and Market Stabilization Act of 2021. And what it just does is gets the FDA to set the framework to make hemp and hemp-derived products, including CBD, lawfully food products, food supplements. And that is for both food and cosmetics. It makes it legal so that companies out here that have been producing them can send them away to a lab and get them certified that they are not containing bad things. And then when they're selling them, they cannot be turned around and sued because the FDA has approved these products to end up in your tummy, is basically what it amounts to. You know, every lipstick that you buy in a real store, not from China over the internet, and it comes to you in the post from China, but, you know, something that you go to a Kmart, a Walmart, a store like Macy's, or anything in between, Nordstrom's, and I don't know where the young people are going in the malls and buying cosmetics. I'm sorry, I don't know, but I know that those are kind of the two ends. But all of those products have been tested and certified by someone somewhere. And that means that if somebody comes back at them, they're saying, hey, you know, the stuff that's in there, even though it might be fish scales that make it glossy red, those are all products that have been certified to be okay if they're on your lips and they end up in your tummy. If they're put around your eyes and they end up in your eyes, they're not going to hurt you. And that's where we are in between on hemp products right now. We know that they're okay, but the FDA hasn't said that they're okay. And now, finally, men and women, senators and representatives, Republicans and Democrats alike, if they can't come together on all the other things, they have come together on this one thing. And it is so strongly bipartisan, and a little push from the men and women who are voters out here would help push this through. Wouldn't it be great if this could be the legislation that starts a new movement in Washington for getting things done? And it certainly could be, because there isn't really any or enough backlash. Of course, there are the extremists out there, you know, that 6% that will have a reason that no is the right answer for everything. But certainly there's enough acceptance on this for it to go through. And with a little help from your brothers and sisters and uncles and aunts and cousins and friends, we can make this happen. So I am asking you, and everybody that's in the hemp business, and asking you, if you're in the hemp business, ask your friends and neighbors in your email list and your Facebook list and your YouTube list. Ask everyone, this is the time. This is the time. And this is a good thing to ask people to do. It's not something to irritate people or to rile them. This is a thing to do to make some motion for good in our country and good for our neighbors and good for everyone's health. So it's happening right now. This is something they can move through, and everybody can take to their people back home and say, this is something we did. We did it with our friends across the aisle. It's good news for the country. It's good news for the small businessmen and women and small owned businesses. And many of those are people of color or people of other situations and handicapped. You know, that you cannot tell me how this hurts anyone. So I'm asking you to do that, please. And that's our second story for today. And again, I apologize for the dryness in the room here. We've got another story for you today, and we crossed the ocean to do it. Italy, you know, for all the problems that they have over there, and certainly they've had with this year-long stuff, there's a part of Italy, And it's just like America has regions, the Midwest, the upper Midwest, the South, the Northeast. Middly. Well, that's what you would call it. It's Italy. It's in the middle. It's called Middly. Has an area, and if Italy, it has a boot, so then the rest of Italy would be your knee, down from your knee. This would be where your shin is, the part of Italy where your shin is. And it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 provinces of Italy. And they are agriculture. Umbria is the area, by the way. And they have a problem. It's been farmed badly for some time. And there's been a lot of petrochemical put in the ground and a lot of smoke and pollution in the air. And the land is bad. And hemp can fix it. Isn't that nice? Hemp can fix it. And so they are calling it the green plastic dream. They want to raise a lot of hemp to remediate the land, and they want to raise the hemp to turn it into a hemp plastic. Believe it or not, when you raise that hemp, you can use a whole lot of that hemp plant and make a hard plastic out of it. And once it's made into plastic, it is not a polluting thing. Ultimately, it's biodegradable, but it takes the yuck out of the soil, plastic, and it is just wonderful. And it is an awesome, well, you've heard me say it's the miracle plant, and I will stand by that for a long, long time, because we just have it here more and more. You can see the cat it's our guard cat here. His name is Ace. This will create jobs over there in Italy. It will help the soil. It will help the atmosphere. And it will take a lot of heavy metals out of the land that has been poisoning the local soil for years. And while it's doing that, they will also be able to use parts of the plant that does not have heavy metals in it to make textiles and help with fashions. But they will be able to take some of the plant and make bioplastics, biopolymers, and do all sorts of good things. These are things that we can do with our friend, the hemp plant. And at the same time, these are the parts of Italy that have those hills in the background, and then all of those kind of squarish buildings with the almost flat roofs on them. A place where I would like to go and visit and do some shows for you, not only showing you the countryside, but also having some guests on that will talk hemp with us. And maybe when this travel situation opens up again, I will get over there. I have some friends in Tennessee. He is German, but she is, she's German also, but she worked for Northwest Airlines and then Delta as an interpreter on flights. This was back in the days when there was enough money out of the airline travel fees to have an interpreter on all the flights across the ocean. She speaks 5 languages: English, German, French, Portuguese, and Spanish. I think that's the 5. Italian's in there too. What did I say? No, she's just learning Italian now. And they have always had it their dream to go and spend their last years over in Italy, farther up north in the Cinque Terre, if you know where that area of Italy is. Cinque Terre means earth, cinco means 5. And it's actually 5 cities that are basically hanging over the sea. And you could walk from one city to another, kind of on ledges that hung over. You can reach them by driving from the mountains. But and here he comes. He can't go without being in one show at least. But Italy is such a wonderful country, and it's such a shame if it's going to be closed up now for some time due to what's happened in the last year. I am a pasta maker. I cook Northern Italian, and I guess I cook Southern Italian too. But Italy is a wonderful, wonderful place. When this clears up and you can come and visit, if you would like to have some cooking lessons, happy to provide them for you. I can show you how to cook with pasta. I can show you how to cook Northern Italian over a fire. I do an excellent chicken or duck. Also now I can show you how to cook with Hemp Hearts. We are developing recipes for those. And we'll post some of those on the internet here as time goes by. The days are too short. Yesterday was a 16-hour day. Today is perhaps coming out to be one just like that. I've got to get over to our laboratory here at the other farm in just a few minutes as we are cooking, as we call it, but it's actually doing a recipe with beeswax and hemp and some terpenes today. So for Chat Canna today, I will bid you adieu. Have a wonderful time. Stay out of the cold here. And we look forward to seeing you tomorrow and bringing you some news about the Minnesota hemp activities that are going on this week. It's virtual, but it is coming to you from down in St. Paul. So until that happens, have yourself a wonderful day and don't get any frostbite. Stay out of the cold. See you tomorrow.